Good day and welcome to another episode of The Silence Speaks Volumes. I'm your host, Fazil Jacobs. In studio tonight we have caregivers, family members of patients who've been diagnosed with cancer, and we're going to be chatting about their journey through this very trying time. We welcome to studio Mark, Caroline and Gafsa. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your stories with us. So let's break tradition here and start with Mark.
Thank you.
A little bit of background into your journey with cancer.
Okay, I've basically been a supporter for my mom, and she was diagnosed about 2.5 years ago with breast cancer. And I think when you hear cancer, the family, we expect the worst.
Yeah.
And it was a very traumatic time. And then the following day, we got a better diagnosis, as to what the stage was or the prognosis was, and then it was a bit better, luckily it was, I think, stage 2B, and the doctor said, no, it's fully treatable, and so it was a very traumatic journey for the family, but mother's a 1.5 years in remission now, so.
Awesome, that's awesome. Caroline?
Well, I got a sister, my older sister, Venetia. She's 20. Hi, Venetia. She was 2014 with breast cancer first, and 2016 she developed stage 4 pelvis cancer. So, with, like Mark said, when you hear the word cancer, it's like, but when we heard like stage 4 cancer, it was, with us being very, our sisters are very close, and it just really knocked us. And Gafsa, please talk.
My journey is slightly different. My husband started getting ill in 2014. For a whole year, he was in and out of hospital with the oddest of things. His heart valves wasn't working properly. His sugar levels dropped to almost 0 at one stage. It took a whole year, but eventually he got diagnosed with a fairly rare cancer, which had masked itself with the other illnesses. At that time, we were so grateful to receive a diagnosis
sure.
that even though it was a cancer diagnosis, it was a relief. It was treatable. The prognosis was that it was fairly treatable. Unfortunately, my husband passed away in January last year, but it was just too far gone at that stage. But when we got the diagnosis, it was a relief.
I'm sure.
Just to know that we had a way forward.
Mark, you touched on the emotions that hit. You heard cancer. You not being the patient. This is somebody you care for dearly. What went through your mind? What was that emotions that you were feeling at that point?
I think, given that it was my mother, I've been privileged enough that always when I come home from school, my mother was there. So stay at home. So I saw her all the time. And I think, it hit very hard. And I think, if I recall correctly, when I heard the diagnosis, I left the room and I went to go and cry my heart out. And then my sister saw me, and then we both were crying together, but we just didn't want our mom to see us, because she's always been the strong one for us, and we just thought maybe we need to be the strong one for her, but you can only be strong to a certain point, and then we just crumbled. But yeah, it was a very traumatic, experience. And at the same time, my mother became a grandmother as well, and you get good news, and you get this news, so it was a very trying time for family.
Filled with mixed emotions. You feeling a bit better? You okay?
Yeah. Yes.
And I know it's difficult. and it's part of what we're trying to do here. It's unpacking that emotional journey, and a lot of people are the patient, what we're going to do for the patient, and I think it's important that we talk about the caregivers, the support, the family members.
Yeah, you know, with me being at home, so it hurt me very much when they found out. It took so long for them to find out it was cancer, with all the pain that she was going through. You know, I took her to all the tests and everything, and then to hear it's like stage 4. You know, and I mean, like, why didn't you pick it up earlier? You know, I took Nisha, why didn't you see to this? Why? And, you know, all that emotions, I went through all that hurtful emotions, and I blame the doctors for not seeing the things. And while she was in Gatesville, Mallomed, and when she came out, she actually told us, she called us all in, because they actually gave her a time that she'll be with us. And by the grace of God, as 3 years now, she's still with us. So, you know, sister support was, we were all there for her. We still are. And when she told us that night, oh my word. Well, I cried my heart out and I said, she can't leave me. I'm the middle sister. And she wasn't allowed to leave me. And she still can't leave me. She can't. She can't leave me. But she's my, you know, when Nisha's down, I'm there for her. And when I'm down, you know, always, you know, Nisha's always been there. And she still is. She's still there for me. And
I want to just shift slightly here for a moment, if we could. And I'm sure as caregivers and support for the patient, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I'm sure you've got the Google diagnosis from either you looked it up yourself or Auntie Felicity's grandmother's. How did you deal with it?
That was. I sometimes think that people's coping mechanism is to give you somebody else's advice and remedies. And for a long time, I was very polite and I smiled and I said yes. My husband was like, "No, I have my medication. This is what I'm going to do." And he was a very patient man, but when he got ill, that patient went outdoors. So he didn't always want him to handle that discussion. So people would come to me, and for a long while, I'd say, yes, thank you. And yeah, you know, speak to my husband about it, and he'd be, why would I want to do that? But we're lucky that people just start stopping and they respect. And I think probably because I'd just gently say, no, we're not going to do that, or we can't do that. It doesn't work for him. That's not the kind of cancer he has. It was a lifesaver. But it became a bit hectic when people, in good faith, I suppose.
I think they mean well.
Yeah, but yeah, Google doesn't help. Google doesn't help.
See, you're shaking your head there, Professor Mark.
Google.
do not
Google.
Do not Google cancer,
do not
because
Google.
it's, you can see it now. It's, you know, for besides Nisha having cancer, I mean, you hear about it. You hear of somebody also that you know of cancer now, today, and like 2 days later, that person is gone. And it's like,
Yes.
and then I also asked, but why didn't you pick it up earlier? So, you know, I just told myself now that I'll just go have myself checked all the time. There's nothing else. You know, we have to.
We have to look at it.
We have to look at it all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I tell the kids that, I tell the sisters that, you know, and everybody that, you have to check yourself at all the time, because there is so many different cancers now.
But I think that here is key, and at the risk of putting it bluntly, Mark, I think your mom had one of the more common types of cancer. I'm sure you got a lot of do this, do that, or your mom needs this, and your mom needs, or she got it directly herself.
Luckily, I think many people gave us quite a bit of space, you know, so we never really had people that, you know, were giving advice, you know. But you obviously do hear about alternative medicine, get the oil, you know, CBD and those type of things. You know, that always pops up. But like, as she said, do not Google, you know. The more, I think, you read on Wikipedia about it, the more you're going to go into a greater depression, you know, and
more symptoms.
The more symptoms, and you know, and the way the language that they use is even more, you know, intimidating as well. But yeah.
And there's such a lot of negativity around it that I found, and I mean, we're very positive people, and like I said, we were grateful when we got the diagnosis. And for us, it's always been a journey of one day at a time.
Yes, so true.
He unfortunately didn't make it, but you know, we lived and we lived the experience, and I'm grateful for that and the time that we've had.
Before we pick up this conversation a little further, we have some bills to pay. So please check back with us in a few moments. We've got some bills to pay. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the Silence Speaks Volumes. In studio, we have Mark, Caroline, and Gafsa. And we're chatting about the journey of the caregivers to patients who've been diagnosed with a potentially terminal, and in Gafsa's case, a terminal illness. And before we went on break, we were chatting about the emotional journey for you as individuals, from the caregivers' perspectives, and what it was like. And we started touching on the external factors, such as the Google diagnosis, the Google MDs, the Auntie Stevie MDs, and the secret recipes. And you were saying you got to a point where you just said he doesn't have that type of cancer. How did you deal with those sort of things, Mark?
I said, as I mentioned earlier, we didn't really have that. Too many of the family members giving, home remedies and stuff. We try to just follow the doctor's advice as to what, because the doctors, they know that, you know, that's their expertise, and you know, we just trusted them. But yeah, we, as certain people, they say, no, try this, try that. But you know, I told my mom, I said, listen, should I maybe look at getting this oil for you? And she said, no, just wait. Just want to first follow the treatment if I'm not feeling better, you know. So you do get that advice, but yeah, I think we were fortunate enough that people gave us our space, you know.
Awesome. Caroline, did you face many of those challenges?
I don't think myself as much. Nisha, yes, but Nisha never followed anything. No. Nisha loves Dr. Parker too much. She will follow Dr. Parker to the ends of the earth. She followed...
She put her trust in it.
Yes. No. Dr. Parker, who helped her, you know, with what she went through, you know, with the radiation first. That was a knocker. That really knocked her. So we helped her a lot with that. We just used everything that was given to us from her prescriptions. So whatever she received from him, I used it, she used it. I helped her a lot. The radiation, that was really a knocker, you know. So I was always there to help her through her rubbing. I had to rub her out. There was other little things that I refused to do.
There's a line. There's a line.
There's a line. There's a line. Oh no, there's a line. But I take my hat off to the real caregivers. The real caregivers who does that on a daily basis. You know, to see what they must go through. And I mean, here we only doing it for such a little time, you know, with our own family member. But to see them go through it, and you know, to see them go through that pain, oh, it's, you actually wouldn't wish it upon your worst enemy. No, I don't think so. It's really.
Would you agree that for the patient itself, it's a stressful time?
Yes.
And I don't think we have to go into the emotions and the stresses that you're faced with here, especially in the early stages where you don't know how far this cancer's progressed. You're facing your mortality. From the family's perspective, am I losing this loved one? And to get the external pressures from people in the what you should do, this is what you must do. That worked for Auntie Khadija, and she's still with us today. What would you say to people who have that inclination to offer that sort of advice?
You know, it's difficult because you don't also want to step on toes, and you're going through, as the caregiver, you already go through so much emotions, as much as the patient is, and you know how ill that person is. So your emotions is also in such a upheaval. Because 1 minute you need to be strong. And I'm starting to dislike that word, because you do what you need to do, you know, and so sometimes you'll just be so abrupt to those people, and they take it the wrong way as well. So it's such a careful journey that you're on. From my side, it was, I suppose, because I'm just always very nurturing type of person, and happy, and you know, so people don't see that you actually get frazzled. So as a caregiver, it's difficult in that sense to not always be as accepting as people expect you to be.
I like how you put that. I have to be accepting of you.
But that is what people
It's true, eh? It's
They
so
don't know
true.
how to deal with this person having cancer.
Yeah. But I also think that, and maybe I'm stepping on toes here, and I don't mean to offend, but when you're offering advice, it doesn't mean I have to take your advice. It's advice, because if you start getting upset for the advice that I'm giving you, it's no longer advice. It's do this my way.
But that's the thing. People expect that you are going to try that, because you are so desperate, really, that you're going to try anything and everything.
How much do you think it's a case of, this is all the help I have to offer you, I don't know what else to do? So it is sort of a desperate, I also need to give something back, and this is how you need to.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There is a lot of that, because people don't know how to deal with the whole situation.
I think of going to a cancer support of my mom and seeing, you know, the various different people, you know, that and their experiences. Cancer is not one size fits all. So one set of advice cannot work for the next person, even though it's maybe the same cancer, you know, both breast cancer. People have different reactions. So I know of people that had breast cancer, but they don't have lymphedema anymore.
Yeah.
But my mom has lymphedema, so the reactions are different because people are different.
Yeah. I think that's very important.
Yeah, because everybody's body is all different.
Yeah.
You know, we all got different bodies. And I mean, our immune system is all different. So, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I mean, look at the amnesia with her radiation. I mean, I told you, I mean, now she's got 3 holes in a colon from radiation, whereas the next person that does radiation, I mean, they come out as stars. Nothing is affected. So who would know that radiation? So there we have to look after, we have to see that we must go through that too now. Because, I mean, the pain that she's going through now, it's...
And that's not even related to the cancer.
Yeah.
It's not even related to the cancer. So, I mean, unfortunately, the radiation left her with that, but now we have to deal with it. And what can you do with that now? I mean, cancer, you can go for chemo, they do the radiation, but now how can they close now the 3 holes?
Yeah. So it's again, and for me, and I know I'm harping on it a lot, but especially to the viewers out there and those watching, there is a lot we're dealing with. To sit and have to filter through all of this, and in instances, people are desperate, and then they will follow advice that is not medical advice. And as you pointed out, Mark, that cancer is not one size fits all.
Yeah.
How many of you have been to the doctor, a GP, and he's going to prescribe some medication for you, and he whips out this little book and he looks up the medication, and then he looks at your chart to see how much it is you weigh, and he prescribes that according to your weight and in terms of the dosage you've got to take.
Yes.
So if a GP is doing that for a common ailment, I mean, to still sit with just cancer is
No, most definitely. No, I can't. You know, like you said, there's so many recipes going around, but I just don't think that everybody can go and follow that recipes.
Sure.
You know,
it's a consultation with your medical team.
Yes, and like we said also that, you know, like if everybody's body is different. So maybe that recipe is going to work with you, but it's not going to work with Gafsa.
For sure.
It's definitely not going to work with Gafsa. So I don't think I'll ever follow. And I'm glad my sister's
Strong enough.
She's strong enough not to follow. She only followed Dr. Parker. Yes.
So we have a couple of minutes left, and as has become customary on the show, I asked our guests to leave a message for our viewers out there, from their perspectives and their learnings. If we can start with you, Mark.
I just think that supporters, you know, and family and friends should just provide the patient with privacy as well. That's also important. Sometimes people need a bit of space, and when necessary and when it's the right time, to provide the support and advice as well.
That is being asked for.
That's what's been asked for, you know, because it's as much as we can support the patient, it's a lonely journey. So we can be there a certain amount of hours per day, but ultimately the patient has to fend for that, you know, themselves, and be alone on that journey. So when the time is right, you know, please, I think people should feel free to provide, you know, support, but, you know, within reason as well. You know? That's mine.
Caroline?
My message to Venetia and to the viewers. Yeah, she must just remain strong the way she is now. And I would love to give a message to my sister-in-law, who's also diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, Jennifer Dantu. She must just remain strong. Your faith will get you through everything, and you know, there's always a God.
Thank you.
Don't follow anything else.
Thank you. Gafsa?
I just think, do what works for you. If, as far as I'm concerned, whether it's the patient or the caregiver, do what works for you. You'll find your own rhythm and your space. And as difficult as it is sometimes to tell people to back off, tell them if that is going to work for you.
Okay.
And for the caregivers especially, get your own support as well. It's very important.
Yes.
For me, cancer grew my family, so it really helped for me.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you so much, ladies and gents. Thank you for sharing your journeys.
Thanks.
To our viewers out there, I don't have a lot of time to wrap this up, but there's a repeat theme here. No two cancers are the same. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll get you next week.